Hey guys, welcome to Mikey's Video Game Madness. Today we're playing Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest on the NES. I'm sure you guys have probably seen this if you're familiar with YouTube and watched the Angry Video Game Nerds video. This was actually the first Castlevania game I had ever played. And it's a very different one. It's very non-linear. The problem with this game is it's not translated very well. Meaning you talk to these village folks and they don't really give you a good idea of what to do. There was somewhat of a problem with that with the second Zelda. That's actually good advice, believe it or not. You go to the priest and he restores your health. So when I played this game, I was used to playing games where you walk from the left to the right and that's how you finish the level. Hearts are actually your currency in this game. They're not like weapons. Do I have a white crystal now? You need that white crystal in order to see a platform. We'll hopefully be able to finish the first mansion, because that's really all I remember doing. If this game's slowing down like this, it's because of the recording software I'm using. It doesn't like NES games all that much. So, the last Angry Video Game Nerd, which I do enjoy watching, at least he's one of the few people that says, like, when he plays as a nerd, it's a character, and he's not, like, always being honest on the game, he's being hard on the game for comedic purposes. He admits it. This is not the best game, unless you have a strategy guide or something. This was before a time of like games being properly translated from English to Japanese. One of the things about this game that even in the Japanese version is that you get bad clues, because basically the Belmont clan, which is what you're part of, the Belmont clan, which you're part of, is kind of like a clan that like people don't want anything to do with. And so part of the reason why they give you clues sometimes that aren't the greatest is due to translation. But even in the Japanese version you got bad clues for the simple fact that they wanted to trick you, because they don't want anything to do with you because you guys have supernatural abilities, so they associate you with Dracula. And I guess the more they mess your life up and stay away from you, the less trouble they have, at least so they think. So on one of the last Angry Video Game Nerd videos or whatever, he replayed a version of this game that was actually fixed. Instead of giving bad clues at all and needing a strategy guide, at nighttime it sucks, because as you can see you have to hit the enemies more. I played most of the US released Castlevania games. I waited a long time to play this one just because it's one of my least favorite ones. I loved it as a kid. Actually, we don't need to go down, we just need to go forward. I loved it as a kid just because of the atmosphere and the skeletons and the horror themes. This game was, the Castlevania series as a whole was inspired by the Universal and Hammer old horror movies with the monsters and stuff in them. But as an adult, there's a lot of cheap things in this game I don't like. Besides the unhelpful clues for the most part. One thing I really don't like are the platforms that you can fall through, that the only way you can tell that you can the only way you can tell that you can walk through it or not is throwing holy water on it. Sorry if I'm stuttering or pausing in between my speech. I'm trying to concentrate on the game. So this is the first mansion you go through. You have to select your white crystal somehow, which I forgot how to do. There we go. Now we can see that. If you don't have the white crystal, as you saw, you would not be able to see that platform. This isn't a particularly hard game if you know what you're doing. What makes this game difficult is just being confused all the damn time. This game is based more on exploration. Shown as a kid, I liked it just because I could go around and explore everything and not really give a shit whether I finished the game or not. I always ended up on a dead end somewhere, but back then I didn't care about stuff like that. But the angry video game nerd played some version that gave you all the clues and hints that you needed to know what to do. When it tells you about, it's what a horrible night to have a curse. It like fast forward the speech like ×3, and you could like basically almost skip it. There's those hidden platforms, and I died again. The slowdown's not really helping all that much. I need to buy holy water from a merchant. I guess you technically don't need holy water, and you could take like 3 hours to learn what platforms you could walk into and which ones you don't. And I might have missed the area where you bought holy water. I don't remember. But anyway, you have to get like a oak stake and put it through a crystal. This game's shit. I misjudged that jump. I'm really not that bad at this game. I mean, I'm bad at figuring out what the stuff is to do without a guide. I actually have a old black and white guide I bought from a flea market a long time ago that came out around the time Castlevania 4 did on the Super Nintendo, which is actually a remake of the first Castlevania game. This game's also unique in the fact that it's an actual sequel and not like a retelling of the same story, which they've done over and over again with the first Castlevania story. Again, I apologize for the slowdown. I didn't think it was gonna happen. Just the recording that I'm using, it just doesn't like NES games for some reason. It depends on the game. I tried not to blow my nose in the microphone, but I have no idea how sensitive it is. I wish it would turn daytime already. I guess this is what hell would be like, being chased with a pitchfork. So basically the goal of the game is you have this curse. This is the beginning of the level. thought I was gonna be able to play this game and finish all these parts, but so far it doesn't look like that's happening. I'd like to use my capture card for these games, but it doesn't accept the resolution as low as the NES, so I have to record my games by other means, and it doesn't like some of these games, so again, I apologize. This is the best I could do. I do own all these games that I'm playing, even though this particular game is emulated, as you can tell. If I turn off fraps, it would run it fine. It's mostly the Konami games, or the Sunsoft games, anything that might push something on the NES. Ironically, it can record PC games fine. I don't know why. I was thinking about getting a clone system just so I could record off of that, but unfortunately I think this does a better job emulating the games than I've seen the clone systems do. I wish I could just use my NES to record off of, but I can't even record like old PlayStation games. I might just need a crappier capture card, I don't know. I guess emulation can come in handy or whatever, as long as you don't abuse it. But I know it's not the real thing, and this slowdown's kind of annoying. You have to understand, I also haven't played this game in like, I don't know, it's been over a decade, so I'm not used to it. Another thing that's kind of annoying about this game is you really don't have any secondary weapons at all times like you do in other Castlevania games. I should be really paying attention to what platforms I can walk through and which ones I can't. I lucked out and jumped right then. That merchant should sell me an oak steak, but he has a shield and a sword in both hands and somehow is able to throw bones at me. I don't understand that. I shouldn't be risking. Shouldn't risk, sorry for being facetious, walking over any kind of pit, but I am like a moron. Shit. When it gets daytime, these guys are a lot easier. Also, your whip doesn't upgrade automatically. You can upgrade your whip, but you have to pay to do it. This game isn't terribly hard. You just got to get used to the way it controls. Like, it's actually a breeze once you know what you're doing. But like many have said, this is like a Nintendo Power game. I think it kind of assumes that you've read the magazines and you know exactly what to do. I'm sure there's probably some way to figure out how to do this on your own. Well, yes, I will invest in that. You need the oak steak, because at the end of this level there's a crystal. I'm not even gonna attempt to try to bust through the walls. How many lives do I have? None. I'm almost dead as is. This game also has a password system, but it's convoluted. I need to get over there where those skeletons are hanging, but all this shit going on, I'm bound to get hit. One good thing about this game, I have to say, like most Castlevania games, is the soundtrack's really awesome. It's one thing I miss in the contemporary PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 Lords of Shadows Castlevania games. And I basically just missed my opportunity to go up those stairs. But since I didn't buy holy water, I have no idea what come on, get closer. I have no idea what I can walk through and what I can't. Shit. Maybe I'll have the oak steak. Oh, this is a better area than where I left off, actually. Shit. See, I just hate that. It's so cheap with the platforms. That's kind of why I hesitate to play this game. But I promise retro games, I mean, it's not exactly how I wanted to portray them, but it's the closest of what I can do for right now. This is the only game I ever remember seeing those demon guys in. So anyway, you gotta collect Dracula's body parts and put them back together, and then destroy them for good because you're cursed. And you have like this wound that's slowly growing bigger, but I have no idea what they put in the American novel. I haven't, not the novel, the instruction booklet, because I haven't read it in so long. So this game had a lot of good ideas and good intentions, but it just wasn't executed, as I would say, properly. Honestly, I think some of the people that translated these games probably didn't really play video games themselves. A lot of times they would see a manual in Japanese and just come up with their own story just based on like the artwork or the pictures or whatever. I'm dead for good. And I still got a steak. Apparently this game's a little bit more forgiving with continues than most other games of the time. It doesn't necessarily make me a better player. I have nothing to throw at him. If I had holy water, perhaps that would help. I'd really like some holy water right now, but one thing about these older games, everything respawns after like you go back to the just barely where they were at the corner of the screen and go back, and sure enough, there they are. Seeing how many times I can miss hitting that thing. I never liked those globs of slimes in these games. Castlevania, until the most recent ones, which I've been replaying and enjoying, but not as much as I enjoyed maybe like some of the other ones. There have been duds in the series, but Castlevania series as a whole probably has most of my favorite video games of all time in it. Konami actually has a lot of shit. Now I went through the spikes I wasn't supposed to go through. I need some holy water bad. I probably should have bought that in the village But if you remember, everybody turned to zombies before I could talk to anybody because I was running my mouth with the commentary. I'm just gonna ignore the slime, which obviously didn't do me any favors, but whatever. I don't think I ever have been this bad at this game. Doing this commentary is kind of making it difficult. This is one of the Castlevania games I've played the least amount of as an adult. Like, I can go and replay Castlevania 3 or the first Castlevania a lot, especially as an adult. But as a kid is when I mostly enjoyed this game. I'd be lying. Shit. I gotta jump over both of those things. At first I thought it was only one brick, but whatever. That's my fault. Seeing me play this, you probably think I've never even played a Castlevania game before. Like, everything that I've killed has reappeared. This game has the memory of somebody who has Alzheimer's. I do like that it remembers that I bought an oak steak, but I mean, it respawned me right where an enemy was. That was kind of unfair. This level would be a lot easier if I had a secondary weapon, which I should have bought. I gotta kind of just guess where the pit holes are now, which is the way I did it the first time, but now that I'm older and my reflexes are slower, it's not as pretty. Those invisible platforms are kind of bullshit. I'm just gonna guess and jump all these places. It's not gonna help me out much. It really doesn't matter, there's stairs down there. This is bullshit. So instead of one big castle, there's all these buildings and stuff, but I'm sure you probably guessed all that by now. What's here? Absolutely nothing I can use. Why don't you drop me right where I need to go? See, there's going to be a bunch of platforms where you can fall through around here, and I have no way of knowing which one is which. Maybe I'll watch the skeleton and see where he goes. Shit, that didn't help me. So we know that thing's bad. I'm just gonna die here. Maybe it'll set me close to where I was. It set me close, but not where I wanted to be. I had to climb all the way up there. This wouldn't be as much of a pain in the ass if you had holy water. which I forgot. It's just a fucking chore. Sometimes I just want to find the person that decided to have platforms you can't see through. And the only way that you can see through the platforms to throw holy water, which you only have a limited amount of. Sometimes I think about punching that guy in the face. I decided that was a great idea. There's one thing about gameplay, but I kind of feel betrayed when the developer tries to trick me, especially if I bought a game. I remember when I bought this game, like, I had to cut lawns and stuff to be able to get this game, and I wanted it because I had Castlevania 1 and 3 and I wanted the whole set. So I got this and I played it and I played it, and the only way I could get past it was basically get in that little guide, and it's just a pain in the ass. This game's a pain in the ass. I think I'm tired of playing it. It's not a bad game as long as you know exactly what to do, but if you don't have a guide or anything, you don't feel like exploring every nook and cranny and experimenting with every little thing, it's best just to watch a playthrough and not have to experience it yourself. The only time I really enjoyed this game is when I was a kid. The only reason why I cut the lawns to get it because I was a completionist and I wanted all the Castlevania games that were out at the time. Why? How did it benefit me? I have no idea. But I'm already getting frustrated playing this, and where they spawn you and not having a secondary weapon, it's just not very Castlevania-like and kind of bullshit. The only redeeming qualities I have for this game is that I could see where the idea was, and it was a cool idea. I'll give them that. The music in this game is some of the best in the series. Unfortunately, it was wasted on this. And the graphics are actually pretty decent, though a lot of the sprites are reused from the other Castlevania games, and they might have just added a few extra things. But you know what? Take it as is. I would like to play that version that the Angry Video Game Nerd Play does, retranslated and whatnot. But I'm not gonna lie, I've sucked a lot more since the last time I played this, and it's really a pain in the ass to play this game without this particular level without holy water too. To see those missing, those hidden little pitfalls, which I think are bullshit and deceptive, and like I said, I think that's a shitty thing to do to the player because I don't think it's really fair. But that's just me. Even if you could throw holy water and see it go through, you only have a limited holy water. What do you do when you run out of holy water? Run all the way back to the village and buy more? It's just shit like that that just pisses me off. But anyway, this is Castlevania 2 on the NES, Simon's Quest. It even had an interesting story. What a waste. I'm glad somebody made the effort to redo everything. I'm sure that's a better game. Anyway, guys, this was probably fun when I was a kid, when this was new or whatever. I'm not trying to sound like everybody else who plays this game, but maybe they're onto something. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. I apologize for the slowdown. Take care. Bye.